Kwasi Kwarteng, the Chancellor, has coming back early from the IMF meetings in Washington. What do you make of that?
But I think it's the right thing to do because it does appear that there are some serious discussions going on now about possibly rowing back on some of the tax commitments, which I think would be the right thing to do at this moment. And I think he will want to be in the room as those discussions occur. So I think coming back early is the right thing for him to do.
What do you understand is being discussed?
Well, I think what will be on the table will be particularly corporation tax, the changes there, the freeze in corporation tax that was proposed, which is a big part of the remaining elements of the package that haven't gone through the House of Commons. It's about £18 billion worth. I think that and other measures possibly rowing back from that because, as the IFS has said, there's about a £62 billion hole in the public finances, and these kind of moves could probably fill 18–20 billion pounds worth of that, and I think send a very important signal to the market about fiscal credibility.
If they did scrap that rising corporation tax, or they reversed that commitment,
yes,
would that be enough to calm the markets, do you think?
I think it's already priced in, so I think the markets have probably settled a little bit on the expectation that they will be going ahead now with corporation tax increases. So the problem then becomes, if they don't do it, of course they might get an adverse reaction from the market. So I think they're kind of in a bit of a bind on this one. But I think overall, in terms of resetting the relationship with the markets, which is a fundamentally important thing to do, because there's a knock-on consequence for where interest rates wind up, for example, it's the right thing to do at the moment.
And how soon? Because we heard from Greg Hands, who was here, sitting where you're sitting now, a little bit earlier on, and Kwasi Kwarteng last night in Washington, both saying, just wait, we'll have details coming out on the 31st of October. You'll learn more then. Can the markets wait that long? Well,
we still need to have the plan that the Chancellor will come forward with on the 31st, and alongside it, the Office for Budget Responsibility, which is the independent forecaster, coming forward with its forecast. So that must still happen. But I think what needs to happen earlier than that is this rowing back on some of these unfunded tax commitments. And that's something that, really, in answer to your question, we need to see as soon as possible, because clearly, if it is going to help steady the markets, why would you delay? You would want to come forward with it pretty quickly.
Today?
Yep, today, or maybe the first thing on Monday. We're fortunate that we've got a weekend intervening, but the earliest possible opportunity.
So would you be satisfied if they announced either today or on Monday a change to their plans on corporation tax? Would you be satisfied they'd done enough?
I think the markets will probably view that as a very significant step towards fiscal credibility, and I think would be substantially reassured, and I think it would be the right thing to do.
Fiscal credibility, what about political credibility? Would really undermine Kwasi Kwarteng's authority, wouldn't it?
There's no easy solution to this. All the options are difficult. It's a question of finding the option that is the best of a lot of difficult options, and I think the row back would be the right approach. Now, you're right, of course, then the cry is another U-turn, and that in itself is damaging. But I think the alternative of not doing it would be more damaging.
But what would it mean for him personally and for his job? Could he hang on as Chancellor if he's reversed two key planks of his mini-budget?
So I think what the parliamentary party has got to do is take a deep breath, stay calm, give him that space to do whatever he's going to do in the next 48 hours or so on the tax front. Give him the space to come forward with that plan at the end of the month and the ABR forecast, in the hope and the expectation that he gets it right, that we get a reset with the markets, and then we can start to have a platform on which the government can rebuild. Now, nobody's going to say that that's going to be easy, but none of the alternative routes to rebuilding are going to be easy either. And I do think the parliamentary party now needs to give the Chancellor that bit of extra space now.
Do you think they will? Do you think he's safe in his job?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I sense, having spent a bit of time in Westminster this week, because of course we've been away prior to that with recess, that there's clearly a very deep level of dissatisfaction and concern amongst Conservative members of Parliament. To the degree to which is that translating into a very organised set of activities, I'm not so sure at this point. But as I say, I think now is the time just to hold back, take a deep breath, stay calm, and just wait to hear what the Chancellor has to tell us shortly and what he comes forward with in what is just 18 days away.
His fortunes are very closely tied to Liz Truss's, surely. This was her vision that he's been acting out or he's put forward in the mini-budget. If he's vulnerable, Liz Truss is vulnerable, isn't she?
I think that the entire Conservative Party is vulnerable at the moment. Nobody can be in a position where you're 20, 30 points behind the Labour Party, an extraordinary polling position to be in, and not feel very vulnerable. I think anybody, even with an apparently safe Conservative seat with a big majority, will be thinking very carefully about where we're going. So I think in that sense, we are really all in this together. And as I say, I think we need to stay calm for a bit, give him a bit of space and hopefully come forward with something that we can build on.
And do you still want him in the job by Christmas?
I do, because I want the Prime Minister to succeed, I want the Chancellor to succeed, because if we can do that, then the country will succeed.
OK, Mel Stride, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.